So we've spoken about the penguin before, which is where you don't quite commit your weight to one foot or the other. But what can happen is once you do start committing your weight is you can get an uneven skate where you favour one foot over the other. So let's talk about how to get rid of this uneven skating. So a nice way of fixing this is to count as you skate. So as you're striding, you've got 1, 2, 1, 2. But it might mean that you're spending slightly less time on your good foot, but hopefully increasing the amount of time you spend on the bad foot. So if I'm here, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it forces you to stay on that uncomfortable foot for just a little bit longer. Another place it's quite common to see a slight unevenness is in crossovers around the corner, because it feels more comfortable to be on this outside edge than it does on the inside edge. So I'm going to show you a really nice drill which will help you get more comfortable on that inside edge. So the outside edge feels quite normal because you're just going to do a push here. But when you swap to the inside edge, you've got this kind of awkward leg position going on. So a way to get used to this is to actually try it static. So my foot goes from here and it's actually going to slide behind me here. So from there, sliding behind to there. Now it's really important when you do this that it comes there and not like that. You see the difference when my wheels roll away here? That's not right. You want it to go there. And the last wheel to leave the ground is that outer wheel. That goes from there to there. So let's just do that slowly rolling. So my first push is easy, then this goes down and it's going to go there. First push, foot down and there. So what you can do is literally just use that one foot to pull you. So I'm not going to do this push, I'm just going to do this one. It's good inner thigh workout. You have to get down and really feel the floor and push the floor away from you to get that speed, and hopefully that should help you even out your crossovers. So having just spoken about crossovers, I think the next common mistake we need to cover is crossing your legs with straight knees. There are loads of moves in skating which require you to cross your feet over. So there's this in-place move of the strut, or you can do it moving crossovers, and you have to make space for your knees. So if you try and cross your legs straight, it's really, really awkward, and I feel like your skates are just too close together. You're going to lock those wheels. So you've got to give yourself some room. So you've got to bend your knees, and then you've got all this space here between your skates, and you've got room to cross your legs. So much more comfortable like this. Having just spoken about crossing our feet over and getting our wheels locked together, I need to talk about not learning the hard way. So all this safety gear is there to protect our skin and our bones, and it's so, so good. I've done it. I'm guilty of going out skating in the sunshine without it on and learnt the hard way. So don't do it. No one else is wearing it. It doesn't matter. You want to wear it, wear it. It's much better to be safe than sorry. Another really common mistake is feeling like you're working really, really hard, but you're not actually getting anywhere. This can be down to the fact that you're not using your pushing effectively. So let me show you some techniques for this. So you're striding, you're transferring your weight, but you're working really hard and you're really not getting that far. It's all down to this push. So when you change feet, you need to get this T position, and you're pushing from these inside wheels here. And getting the feeling of this changes your skating. So you have to push down into the ground with this foot, and all the weight goes down into this inside front wheel here. And you're pushing yourself into the floor, and this skate almost stops, and you push yourself away from it. And it's a feeling, it's something that you have to feel for yourself. But once you get it, honestly, you'll understand why it's so important. Another thing that happens for new skaters, and this is really common, is you can get overwhelmed. So you're scrolling through Instagram and you're like, oh my goodness, people are just so good. I'm never gonna be like that. It's not even worth me carrying on. So a really, really good way to combat this is to use drills. So drills, I feel, give you an easy win. So you're like, well, I can do that drill. It's like my first drill is just literally skating forward. I can do that. My next one is skating forward and stopping. And you're like, oh, tick, tick, tick. And this gives you this nice little boost. So you're like, this is good. And it breaks it down. So whenever I'm overwhelmed, I'll take it back and I'll be like, okay, so I want to learn that. So what prerequisite skills do I need to be able to do that? And if you can say, okay, I can skate forwards, I can skate backwards, I can't quite turn. So let's focus on that because my end goal is that. So breaking it down really stops that feeling of being incredibly overwhelmed. The last mistake I must mention is some beginners don't learn to fall correctly. It can save you from injury and it's so, so important, as well as all of this. So I have an entire video on that which I will link for you. Now I hope whilst you've been watching this video you've had a, oh, I'm going to try that moment, and hopefully it will work for you. I'm Katie, you've been watching Skatie, and I'll see you next time. Bye!